Strung by Per Jacobson, Chapter 6. A little over half an hour later, Randall, drenched, exhausted, and discouraged, stood in the parking lot in front of Carol's Diner, staring at the large neon sign mounted on the roof, and at the man who hung from it. As for places to eat in East Allen, Carol's wasn't at the top of the list, at least not if the measure was the quality of the gastronomic experience. Nevertheless, the diner was doing great, and had done so for decades. There was a simple explanation, though, because Carol's Diner had an excellent location. Its nearest neighbor was the Pine Mill Sawmill, which, beyond comparison, was the company in East Allen with the highest number of employees. And when the 4 o'clock bell rang at Pine Mill, a large portion of those employees went straight over to Carol's, often to stay there until they were kicked out. That was one of the reasons why Randall had come here. He knew there would be people, or rather witnesses if needed, and there were people here. He just hadn't taken into account that one of them would be hanging like a creepy shadow under one of the neon sign's letters, and that the rest of them would be completely indifferent. The other reason he had chosen to go to Carol's Diner was the phone booth on the right side of the building. Not surprisingly, the 3 hard collisions with the asphalt on Highway 55 had been too much to handle for the cell phone in his pocket. The screen had cracked in several places, and when he tried to turn it on, he got nothing but a soft metallic whistle out of it. Ergo, he had to resort to telecommunications of the more traditional kind. At least he found he had some small change in his pocket, because he wasn't sure he would have been able to enter the actual building, not after seeing how the guests came and went, completely unaffected by the dead man dangling over them. Moreover, he didn't know whether the thing that was wrong with them was limited to the collective apathy, or if they might also be dangerous like the officer. In any case, this was something he neither had the energy nor the desire to investigate right now. Therefore, he did his best to avoid the most illuminated places in the parking lot while moving over to the telephone booth. When he entered the booth and shut the door behind him, he also shut off most of the sounds from outside. Of course, the rain's drumming on the roof and the windows were still there, but the sounds of the diner voices, the rattling of glasses and plates, mixed with Springsteen's Born to Run on the jukebox, died out almost immediately. And there, in the moment where Randall's focus returned to his own thoughts, it dawned on him that he was facing a problem. Another one. One thing was that he hadn't really thought any further than that he had to call someone, and that it couldn't be the police. But on top of that, no matter who this someone turned out to be, he wouldn't get very far without his cell phone, because yes, the phone booth enabled him to make a call, but it didn't have his contacts saved like his phone. Fuck, he sighed, leaning forward so his hands and forehead came to rest against the side wall of the phone booth. He felt like hammering a fist against the glass. He wanted to smash it so he could stick his head out and scream at the damn psychopaths who were promenading around out there, behaving as if the whole world hadn't gone to hell. Of course, there was one phone number he could remember, but it wasn't a call he wanted to make. Besides, it would probably be in vain, as dismantling the landline probably was one of the first things Tommy did when he took over the house. That thought was an excuse, not even a good one, and Randall knew it. Even though a couple of years had passed since he last set foot in his parents' old house, he had, after all, been out there a few times since Tommy moved in. And if the old red telephone with the curly cord hung out in the kitchen during those visits, it probably still did. Reluctantly, but also aware that there were no other options, Randall pulled a few coins out of his pocket and put them into the machine. Then he picked up the phone and dialed the number that once belonged to his parents and now belonged to his brother. 8 long beeps came and went before a small click cut them off. and a male voice obscured by either tiredness or alcohol broke through. Yeah, Tommy here. Hi, Tommy. It's me. For a long moment, there was complete silence at the other end. Then Tommy's voice returned. Randall? Yeah. Okay, I didn't see that one coming. Why are you calling on the landline? It doesn't matter. Tommy, I'm in trouble, and I need your help. Certain that those words would be met with a sarcastic comment, Randall closed his eyes and took a deep breath. But Tommy surprised him. What happened? He knows something is wrong. He's seen something, too. Christ, I don't know where to start, Randall sighed. Have you been to town recently? What do you mean? I mean, if you've been to East Allen in the last week or so. Have you seen what's happened? Well, I've gotten groceries a few times, Tommy confirmed. But other than that, did you see them? Now the silence returned at the other end of the line, and when the answer finally came, it was in the form of a question. Did I see who? Had it not been for the nervous, what are you raving about, snort that followed the words, Randall would probably have believed that Tommy really didn't know what he was referring to. But the nervous snort was there, as it always had been when Tommy tried to hide something. In their childhood, it often accompanied the wild explanations offered when their parents asked about his school grades. And in his adulthood, it typically resurfaced when Tommy had fucked up and someone asked if he had fallen off the wagon. So yeah, Tommy knew there was something wrong in East Allen. But he apparently needed Randall to throw his cards on the table first. And even though Randall was a bit annoyed, he didn't find it completely unfair. After all, the distrust went both ways, and he felt the same way. Take your pick, he replied. All the hanged people, the police who are lynching them, or the rest of the town who don't give a shit. Any of that ring a bell? Another break before the answer came. This time, so long that Randall checked to see if there was still light in the display over the coin hole. For fuck's sake, Randall, Tommy said softly. Yes, it does ring a bell. What the hell is going on? A relief, deep and intense, shot through Randall's body at the realization that he wasn't alone after all, and he had to concentrate to keep his emotions in check. We'll talk about it later. I'll be out of money soon. Can you pick me up? Yeah, I'm sober and I can drive, you asshole. Where are you? Carol's. I'm standing by the phone booth outside of Carol's diner. Okay, I'll get going right away. Thank you. And Tommy? Yeah? Don't take the 55. Why? I'll explain later. Fair enough. Stay put, Randall. Thanks. I'll see you soon.